Hi guys, welcome to Fight Tonight channel. The scenario comes about after Davis was informed to choose which division he would compete in, having held WBA secondary belts at 135 and 114. Davis chose 135, leaving the WBA with less headache regarding the narrowing down of straps held by Kambosos and Taylor. Gervonta Davis informed the WBA that he will only keep his lightweight belt, said President Gilberto Mendoza. Gervonta had 5 days after his fight last Sunday to choose a division, and he decided to stay at 135 pounds. According to new championship rules, Davis would have had to fight Kambosos and Taylor in 2022 to keep both straps. Now Tank will get ordered to agree on a deal with Kambosos Jr. when the WBA's turn comes around. A brief look at the World Boxing Association lightweight standings tells you Davis won the lightweight crown in December 2019. He is yet to make a mandatory defense in that time. Rolando Romero has secured a pay-per-view place to be the challenger. However, he had to pull out due to personal issues. It's not clear whether Romero will get another stipulated shot at this stage. Therefore, the WBA can concentrate solely on dropping the regular title for good when ordering Davis and Kambosos Jr. to call it. The last mandatory on record was George Linares taking on Luke Campbell in 2017. That lengthy spell should mean Davis vs Kambosos gets commissioned this year. Being the secondary title holder to Kambosos Jr. super belt, Davis will have to conform to the stipulation or drop the title altogether. Should he choose the latter, Kambosos will stand as the only champion in the division with WBA. WBA will then get ordered to face the next contender in line. Ironically, that could be Romero once he is cleared to fight again. Promoter Leonard Ellerby, who handles Davis' business alongside Floyd Mayweather, has already cast a doubt on Davis vs Kambosos in 2022. Ellerby said, "We are not going to go out there and overpay a fighter just because you all say he's a big-name fighter. We're not in the business of losing money like those other promoters," he added. Mayweather made controversial comment stating Davis would be kept in-house as Mayweather promotions for the foreseeable future. Therefore, the chances of ever seeing Davis vs Kambosos Jr. remains slim. One inevitable happening is that Davis drops the secondary title, one Kambosos' way, if he refuses the fight, or another, the WBA acts to remove the belt. On the eve of the former world champion in 3 weight categories Vasiliy Lomachenko said that none of the lightweight boxers wants to sign the contract to fight with him. Now this information has been confirmed by the Boxing Insider source. The promoters of the Ukrainian are looking for an opponent for the next fight, but absolutely all the tops refuse to fight Lomachenko. The problem is that the Ukrainian is not the most profitable boxer at the box office. This is, you are unlikely to get a huge fee for a fight with him, but the probability of losing is extremely high. And if early Lomachenko attracted rivals by the presence of world champion belts, now he does not have this trump card up his sleeve. In such a situation, one can only hope for the high-quality work of the top-ranked promotion company and its head Bob Arum. By the way, he had previously promised to try to organize a fight for Vasiliy against the absolute world champion George Kambosos. Friends, before starting to watch this video, I would like to ask you to subscribe to my channel. If you really enjoy the content, then please subscribe to my channel and keep watching the videos. If you are subscribed, then you receive notifications about the release of new videos. You do not even have to look for anything personally. I really want to get 10,000 subscribers on my channel. I'm trying very hard absolutely every day and I need your support. Your likes, comments, reposts to social networks. Thanks to everyone who subscribes to my channel. You are my support. Thank you so much. The head of the top-ranked promotion company Bob Arum is ready to organize a fight of Vasiliy Lomachenko against the absolute lightweight world champion George Kambosos in Australia. There is no lockdown in Australia right now. That fight would have been huge there. If we do it on Sunday afternoon, it will be Saturday prime time in the United States. This fight will bring a lot of money, but if we can't come to Australia because of the virus, then it's a doomed undertaking. I believe that the people of Kambosos really have good intentions about the fight with Lomachenko. Vasiliy wants to fight with Kambosos and will gladly fight with him in Australia, so we will see. No one is stubborn. The only question is what effect COVID restrictions will have, Arum said. Rasanber lightweight cutman Vasiliy Lomachenko believes that his client has earned the right to fight with the absolute world champion George Kambosos. Anber stated this on the postcard calling Rasanber, "I respect Kambosos. I think George is an outstanding fighter and a source of inspiration for the underdogs because of what he has done. But my opinion is that Loma deserves this fight. The king deserves to fight for the throne again. If anyone in boxing deserves another chance, it should be him. If you look at the chronology and the past, the fighters were in knockout and got revenge. Lomachenko can't get a rematch or a title fight. It's mind-boggling how the best boxer of a generation, the best fighter since Roy Jones, cannot get another title chance. How is it possible? Recall that on October 17, Lomachenko already fought for the status of the absolute world champion, but lost by unanimous decision to Teofimo Lopez. Recently, the chances of a Ukrainian getting a fight with the Kambosos have increased significantly. Promoter Eddie Hearn pays tribute to Ukrainian lightweight Vasiliy Lomachenko for his performance against African Richard Comey, but at the same time claims that the conqueror of 3 divisions is not a favorite for a fight with the leader of the lightweight Australian George Kambosos Jr. Hearn carefully hints that the main factor in the negotiations will be the financial potential of the deal. The Lomachenko fight? I saw the knockdown. I saw how he called on his opponent's corner to remove his fighter from the fight. It was a good fight, an amazing fight. See, Lomachenko is probably the best current lightweight in the world, but I feel that this quartet, Gervonta Davis, Devin Haney, George Kambosos and Ryan Garcia, stands apart. I think that a fight between them will begin before Lomachenko is allowed into this quartet. Hearn understands the decision of the promoter of the Ukrainian Bob Arum to try to push his fighter through the WBO line. I believe that Bob will do everything to make Loma a mandatory contender for Kambosos. This means that sooner or later Vasiliy will have a title fight, but I believe that the first fight for the title of absolute world champion between Haney and Kambosos will still take place. I think Arum's decision to go the way of the WBO is in our favor. Why is that? Because Kambosos will now have a simple choice, a fight for the absolute with Haney or a defense against Lomachenko. I have no doubt that the winner of the Kambosos vs Haney fight will give a fight to Vasiliy, but a fight for the absolute should always have priority. De facto, Kambosos is already the absolute world champion. The Australian holds the WBC franchise, WBA Super, IBF and WBO titles. Haney has a missing belt for the title of absolute according to the WBC version, about the same as Hearn. The ring's editor-in-chief said earlier, Kambosos has all the titles, but Lomachenko is the strongest. At the champion of the division below Shakur Stevenson challenged the Ukrainian at all. Everyone already knows that he is better than an Australian. The conqueror of 2 weight divisions, American Shakur Stevenson, believes that it is time for the former United Lightweight champion, Ukrainian Vasiliy Lomachenko, to change priorities. Supposedly, it's time to give up trying to become an absolute world champion. Imagine that the Lomachenko vs Kambosos fight will take place next week, says Stevenson. Try to ask people their opinion on this. 9 out of 10 will bet on Lomachenko's victory. We know that stylistically he is better than Kambosos. And now imagine that Lomachenko needs to meet me in the next fight. But in this case, someone will bet on Lomachenko and someone will bet on me. In this confrontation, the odds are about 50-50. Young Stevenson thinks like an adult and believes that it's time for Lomachenko to think about life outside of boxing. Listen, he already had a chance to become an absolute world champion. Now he has reached the stage of his career when he should take care of the most profitable fights. About money fights, it must be remembered that it is impossible to box for an eternity, Stevenson said. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel.